What's up, guys? Zeenigami here, and version 1.1 of Genshin Impact is out, and I want to go over all the new patch notes. You can find them in the game by going over to the notices board and searching over these three things. There's a lot of them to go over, but let's just focus on the ones that are important, especially the new feature that is the new reputation system. So new reputation system, there is a vendor in Mondstadt and a vendor in Liyue Harbor that gives you a whole bunch of things to do every week. There are weekly quests that you can accept all of at once, and there is also bounties to do, and the bounties are pretty cool. You can only accept one at a time, but you also have unique traits for the characters you're fighting. So for this Ruin Guard, it is immune to Hydro and immune to Anemo and weak to Electro and weak to plunging attacks, because that's something that we're using in combat a lot, right? So there are unique characters. If you accept the bounty, you can track them. You can do 3 of the bounties a week and 3 of the quests a week. But you don't get these until level 2. To get to level 2, you have to explore the world and do quests. These are just the regular quests that you're going to be getting in Genshin, and you will be able to complete these while you're playing. And the world exploration, these are things like opening up chests, finishing the statues of the 7, and discovering waypoints. So as you do those, you will get your zone exploration completed. With each of these cities' reputation vendors, there are unique things to open up, such as the Oculus Stone crafting searching items, the chest searching items, and the NRE, which is the quick access food items. That way you can have fast food whenever you want on a shortcut, so you don't have to open up the menu to eat food in combat. There is the portable cooking stove that is available in Liyue that is completely worthless, and I don't see why anyone would make it. There is the wind catcher in Mondstadt that is over here on level 3 that is really expensive to make. It takes 10 Anemo seed things in order to make that you get from the Anemo cube, and that is kind of ridiculous that you have to get 10 of those to make this to help you explore, because you're going to have to spend somewhere between 200 to 400 resin to get that, depending on when you make it. Since you don't get this unlocked until level 25, you're only going to be getting 1 or 2 of those. If you get really lucky, you might spend 200, but if you get really unlucky, you might spend 400 on this for the wind catcher, which is like a portable Venti item. And you also have way down late in the level 6 of both of the maps, or both of the areas, Mondstadt and Liyue, the treasure compass, which is a really cool item. This item makes it so that way you will be able to scan an entire area on the map in order to find chests. So if you are looking for chests and you're finding it hard to find them, chests do not respawn in Genshin Impact. Don't listen to the people's lies. Chests don't respawn, so if you want to find chests, you use these to scan everything in the area. It will mark them on your map so you can pick up all the chests within a fairly moderately sized area. Now, the only way to level your reputation is to do the exploration and quests and also the bounties and requests. So there's no way to level your reputation faster right now. You just have to do these weekly quests. They give you 100 bounty reputation each, Mondstadt reputation up by 100. So every week you're going to be able to level up your reputation a little bit at a time. While you're doing the bounties, you're going to need to use elemental vision. You'll see these little blue lines. They're going to lead you to special enemies that you have to kill. These enemies with the marker on top of them. Kill those, and they will lead you towards where the Ruin Guard is, or whatever that you are hunting. So you have a timer. You have to go kill them within this certain amount of time. And after you do this, note that you're only actually allowed to do a certain number of bounties per day. You're only allowed, or only 3 bounties per week, and that is across the different regions. So you can do your 3 bounties across Mondstadt, or your 3 bounties across Liyue, or 1 and 2, however you want to split it up. But basically you want to work on whichever area that you need more levels in, and do the bounties in those areas to get the reputation in that area, not in the other ones. So here we found 3 special units, and now we have the Ruin Guard that shows up. And the Ruin Guard is increased damage from Electro, immune to Anemo, Yeah, I think this guy's immune to Animo. He's immune to Animo. But increase damage from Electro so I can shoot him and take him down. That's the bounty system. So with the bounties, note that anything that you do is going to apply to all cities. So the one that we did in Mondstadt counts against the number that we can do in Liu. And I highly recommend doing the 5-star bounties only since they all count the same number. So you can either do 3 of the 3 stars or 3 of the 5 stars or 1 3-star, 2 5 stars. Just do the 5 stars to give you the most points unless you're unable to do it. If you can't, maybe consider it's time to bring in a co-op partner to help you clear it. So if you talk to the blacksmiths, you now have a new option to ask you to look for more ores. You can go to the new rich ore vein deposits. They'll be marked on your map like so. And you can go to these spots in order to get the new 4th type of ore. This new ore is way more potent than the old blue crystal rocks. The crystal chunks are 4 for a single one. These new ones are 3, 4, 6, so they are 8 times as strong as the old ones, but these new ones also take original resin in order to craft. So even though they are much stronger, they take original resin. I do not recommend making this at all. Your resin is better spent doing anything else in Genshin, especially doing ley lines for gold. But these crystal chunks, if you're having a hard time getting weapon enhancement materials, recommend going on to Discord, finding some other people who want to do ore routes and go mining ore together, since when you're playing with other people, you will all get the ore drops when someone breaks ores and you're nearby. You can also just make a secondary account for yourself. If you can open up a PS4, a cell phone, or open up your computer and get a second account up to level 16, just that way you can go into that world and plunder the ores. Gonna be a way better use of your time than using resin to get these exact same enhancement ores, just a little bit stronger. In order to craft most of the items, you're gonna go over to the alchemy area where you can see how to craft it. Here's how you craft the animal stone. It takes all these materials and you have to craft them. They are consumable items. The non-consumable items are going to be over at the blacksmith, such as the bottle and such as the weekly waypoint item, the one where you can put down a waypoint and reuse it as if it were any waypoint in the world. You will go over here and you'll go to the blacksmith in order to craft them. And that is this one right here, the wind catcher, that costs 10 hurricane seeds. There are new events. There is a Barber event. If you got the Barber before 1.1, you actually get to get it again. I already picked her up. This is now a permanent Barber, so Barber is now officially a totally free-to-play character that everyone gets guaranteed, and it's lowered to level 18 now, so everyone gets Barber at 18. And I've already gotten it. If you got it, then you get another one. There is Tartalia's storyline that you'll be able to unlock later on. There's new Paimon dailies, and there's the test runs for all the characters that are currently featured on the banner: Child, Diona, Beto, and Ningguang. Make sure you guys do these so you get the free gems and other free materials, and see if you like them or not. I am not a big fan of Child's playstyle. I don't think I really like him that much, so I'm saving my stuff over for Zhongli. Speaking of quests, there are new quests, new Archon and new world quests, especially the end of the Liu storyline. We're not getting a new major area until 1.2, which will not be out until December. They've changed up a lot of stuff with the inventory. There is a new area in inventory for gadgets and items, those new items that we're getting with the reputation system. They've also moved all the books over to the archive, so the quest items now are a lot cleaner, and they've also changed the amount of items you can hold. Weapons, you can now hold 2,000 weapons and 1,000 artifacts. Those two numbers were actually there since the start of Genshin. They just didn't tell you had a maximum of 1,000 artifacts. I personally hit 1,000 artifacts while playing through Genshin just normally, so this is something you can totally hit. And they basically gave you infinite inventory space for everything else. You can see here it's 246 out of 2,000 that I have, but that's 246 unique items. So if I had 9,000 of the electro crystals or 100,000 snapdragons, it would still only count as one item. It's going to take you forever to get there, but you no longer have to worry about those 5,000 mints that you have in your inventory taking up any inventory space. So you can now feel free to spam loot every single item in the game without any problems. They also made it so that way, if you notice while I was over here, you can favorite weapons and artifacts, so no worries about accidentally sacrificing weapons or artifacts. You can now favorite them so you don't accidentally salvage them or accidentally power them up. And you can see the little icon about who is wearing that gear, which is so useful to be able to see who's wearing the gear from that screen. So being able to favorite artifacts, especially whenever you have an artifact that you may want to work on, you're trying to decide if you want to use it or keep looking for an upgrade. Great system. Really happy they finally have that in the game. There are now two new features, the archive and the character archive. The character archive lets you see all the characters, especially characters you don't have, and you can see the details for them, so you can actually see their talents, their constellations. You can't see the upgraded versions of them. Oh wait, no, that one's doesn't have upgrade. You can't see upgrade versions of them. You can't see their level 1 though, which makes it really useful. I don't have to go out of the game to check on characters' constellations when we're talking about them on stream, or if I want to see how good a character is, or even if I want to see what a character is able to do, if I want to do polls for that character or not. The archive now has the old tutorials that you totally just spammed through and didn't pay attention, but you might want it to go back and review. It has all the tutorials that you fought through, and strangely enough, it seems like some tutorials you have to re-unlock. Plunging attack is one of them that I had to unlock again, so when you do a plunging attack, it reminded me of what a plunging attack was, and it added it to the list of tutorials here in the book. But you can go back and review these at any time. Here are all the books that you could find, and also it has books that are missing, so if you're working on your book completion, you can see the little icon if you've got them, and then there are also ones that are locked off that says you need to explore the world in order to find them. Materials, so you can see all the materials. This one isn't very useful, but can be useful if you want to see the recipes that you have not yet made, although it's not all the recipes that you can discover. The equipment is not good. They do not let you see equipments that you have not yet gathered. So if I want to know how good a new 5-star weapon is, I actually cannot look at it in game, which is strange because they let you see how the characters are. You can't see how the weapons are. You can see artifacts. You can see all the artifact sets in game, except for ones that you have not completed the set of. But you can also see that they have changed / fixed a few artifact sets. The Invoker set has actually been fixed. That way, the Instructor set has been fixed to reflect what it actually says, and so has the Geo set. The Geo 4-piece set actually increases damage whenever you pick up shields, not reduces damage taken. The Geography are special points that you can find, like this one in Liu Harbor is just a little picture, a nice little screenshot. In the world, there's a little pink arrow that is just sitting there. You just walk up to it, interact with it in order to unlock these screenshots. Just a little something extra to explore and to find. And a few last things to go over. The expeditions that exist in game, when you dispatch characters on expeditions, you can now actually use them in order to fight. So you can now use characters like Fischl and Kaching that you might be using on your teams to send them on expeditions with no penalties whatsoever. So just use those characters who have those expedition reducing passives in order to get the faster expeditions. You can just use them as much as you like. In your settings, there are a few new settings. The camera default distance, which tells you how far in and out your camera is zoomed, and the combat camera setting. The combat camera setting changes that way whether or not your camera, you will automatically zoom in or out when you attack to your default distance. It's a bit weird to explain. You don't actually need to be in combat for this. You can be anywhere. But if you have combat default distance or combat default settings turned on, every time your character attacks, your camera is going to slowly zoom back to your default distance, wherever that is. So if I'm zoomed all the way in and I attack, you can see the camera starts panning out really slowly because I have my camera set to this to max, and it's going to just keep zooming out all the way until it gets to max distance. So if you want your camera to constantly go back to whatever setting you want it to be, then you want to turn that on. But most importantly, I would recommend turning the default camera distance all the way to max, because who wants it zoomed all the way into you? There are also a few new graphic settings. There's volumetric fog that you can turn on and off, reflections, and I believe bloom is one of the new ones. You can also turn crowd density on and teammate co-op effects, whether or not you want to see your teammates' effects or not in co-op. You can turn all these settings on or off. There is now a new enemy in the game, which is basically a loot goblin. If you're familiar with Diablo 3, it's a special hilichurl that shows up and you have to kill him in time in order to get special resources. So you find that goblin, kill him. I haven't found one yet, but this is what he looks like. And there are a few bug fixes. Actually, there are a lot of bug fixes, but the important ones to go over, if you want to see them all, you can go over to the notices. And the second one down here, or the one with the 2, has a lot of bug fixes on here. The important ones to note is that they unfortunately fixed the Venti bug, so we can no longer fly infinitely with Venti. If you've been on stream, you see me do this a whole bunch of times, where I swap this and I turn off the character in order to make him fly forever. Unfortunately, they fixed that, so we can no longer fly and glitch through things with Venti. They also made it so that way the flowers slash Geowy Shaps, the sand shrews and flowers, no longer drown themselves in water. So if you're swimming in water and you kill them like that, like I've been doing a lot, they no longer just instantly kill themselves. You actually have to kill them. But the biggest thing, and the thing that it really improves the Geo main character especially, thanks phone, is that the Geo main character's ability to knock people up with his rocks or her rocks no longer leashes enemies, and a lot of enemy leashing has been fixed. So all the enemy health resettings because you knocked them into a strange spot or held them in the air for too long or put them on top of one of the Geo main character rocks should no longer reset their health. So that is going to make a lot of Spiral Abyss attempts, for me especially, a lot easier, so I can slam down those Geo rocks without a care in the world. That's a lot of 1.1 stuff. If you have other things that you thought were important, let me know in the comments down below. And come hang out with us live on Twitch, where I'm streaming Genshin Impact every single day. Thank you so much for watching, guys. My name's been Zeenigami, and y'all stay beautiful.